Today on the news and why it matters, we watched the impeachment hearing so you didn't have to. We will give you the super cuts coming right up. It starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by Stu Bergier, Jason Buttrell, and Rob Eno. Thanks for being here, guys. Got a lot to get into with this impeachment hearing. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, American Financing. So American Financing does financial business the right way, unlike many of the financial institutions who are just looking for what's going to be the best kickback for us. We don't really want to put you in, a reasonable loan. We want to put you in something that's good for us, not for you. Yet that's not who American Financing is, which Stu knows from firsthand experience because he wanted them to give him one of those crazy, insane loans, and they were like, "Dude, you don't want to do that."
You can do that, but you can do it with somebody else.
Yeah. Answered all of his questions, though, and we're really, really professional to work with. They have salary-based professionals. They are not commission-based. So trust me when I tell you, they really are looking to put you and your family in the right solution for you. So whether it's a refi, whether it's a home loan, interest rates are really great right now. If you want to get that done, I suggest you do it now, and you do it with American Financing. You can go to americanfinancing.net, or you can call 800-906-2440. That is americanfinancing.net. So I said earlier, we watched the impeachment so that you didn't have to. I was kind of lying. I didn't watch all of it because, I have other better things to do, like watch paint dry. But we did keep a close eye on what was going on. Nothing surprising, right? Nothing shocking, I don't think, really stood out. Stu, do you agree?
The media is saying there's big things that happened.
The media has been saying.
Yeah, probably the biggest thing is this new revelation of an extra phone call that Taylor,
charge d'affaires.
Yeah. Charge d'affaires because he's not the actual ambassador.
He's not the actual ambassador. But anyway, he was in the room, I guess, when Sondland, the EU ambassador, was on the phone with Trump. And afterwards, he asked him about the phone call and indicated that Trump knew about the investigations or something like that. And again, it's hearsay, it's secondhand information. I didn't see it as a huge moment, honestly, but it wasn't something that was not included in his original testimony, so they did talk about it that way.
Well, and I want to play Taylor saying pretty much exactly what you just said is, this is really who you want on the stand to give testimony on whether or not we impeach a president over, a game of telephone. Watch.
Mr. Goldman, what I can do here for you today is tell you what I heard from people. And in this case, it was what I heard from Ambassador Sondland.
Well, thankfully, Jason, we have Taylor on the case to tell us what he heard from people who heard it from other people, maybe. I don't know.
That's kind of, symbolic of the entire thing and how this started. All of this started off a hearsay. I think the whistleblower actually heard about this in a bar. That's the alleged way he heard of this. Everyone has kind of been like, hey, did you hear what the president did on this? And wasn't that so horrible? And then interestingly enough, it never actually happened in the end. It may have intended for it to happen, but it never actually did end up happening in the end. The thing that stuck out in my mind, this is kind of like Glenn described this morning as like a table read. This is what it seems like, because none of this is going to be groundbreaking, oh my gosh, because this has already been leaked by the Democrats. All of this has already been leaked to us. So we know what they're going to say. We know the general context. What we don't have is the back and forth from the opposite side, from the Republicans. We haven't seen them put in their little, zingers and one-liners, which will be fun, but at the end of the day, I don't know if a whole lot of substance will come out of it. But just to show how much deception is involved in this whole process, Adam Schiff backtracked again on whether he even knows who the whistleblower is.
Yes, and we do have, let's watch, oh man, good old Adam Schiff. Let's watch Adam Schiff say, I don't know who the whistleblower is. I don't know what you're talking about. Watch.
Members of Congress, you are the only member who knows who that individual is, and your staff is the only staff of any member of Congress who's had a chance to talk with that individual. We would like that opportunity. When might that happen in this proceeding today?
First, as the gentleman knows,
That's a false statement. I do not know the identity of the whistleblower, and I'm determined to make sure that identity is protected. But as I said to Mr. Conaway,
Yes, you are.
you'll have an opportunity after the witnesses testify to make a motion to subpoena any witness and compel a vote.
This is the third reversal on this. Like, first, it came out, we don't know who it is, but we're glad he came forward. Then the article came out from the New York Times. Then he was actually asked on, I don't remember who did this.
It was MSNBC, I believe.
MSNBC,
Yeah.
and he said, oh, I guess we should have been a little more forthcoming, you know, with how we handled this. Obviously, everyone in his staff knows who it is. He knows who it is because they were conversing with him before he even, the whistleblower even filed the complaint. And look, everyone knows his name. Everyone on Capitol Hill, and now the rest of the country knows who this guy is. It's ridiculous.
Rob, I want to get your thoughts, but I want to point out first, you know, he said it at the beginning of the hearing. He said, I have no idea who the whistleblower is. I don't know. I somehow, it was just my staff who knew, but they totally didn't tell me. They kept it in complete confidence. He doubled down on it at the very end in his closing remarks. He really, really wants to make sure you guys know he does not know who the whistleblower is. Watch.
Just conclude by saying, because I can't let it go unanswered,
It was answered.
some of my colleagues made the statement repeatedly that I've met with the whistleblower, that I know who the whistleblower is. It was false the first time they said it. It was false the second through 40th time they said it. It will be false the last time they say it.
Rob, does it surprise you at all that Adam Schiff once had career aspirations of becoming a screenwriter in Hollywood?
No. He is shocked to find that there is a whistleblower in the building. This is just, it's like you said, it's the entire thing. This has been Groundhog Day, like I've said before, since the beginning of the Trump presidency. We're now at the 1,027th day of the Trump presidency, where they all wake up in the morning and go, this is the day we're going to get Donald Trump, even if we have to make up stuff to get it. I don't think anybody's mind in the United States was changed by these hearings. You know, the media was hyping, you know, as soon as they have the hearings, we're gonna see that Donald Trump's really evil, and you're all gonna see, like you said, we know it. And they're trying to like push it as a reality show, right? As like an episode. I don't know if you saw Soledad O'Brien went nuts at our favorite man, Brian Stelter, because Brian Stelter was like hyping up the, you know, episode 1 of the impeachment hearings has to be really, really good to keep people's attention. And she was like, what are you doing? It's all a game to these people.
You know, it's true. And I mean, no one's telling the truth, right? I mean, yes, Adam Schiff is completely lying about not knowing who this whistleblower is. But so is Jim Jordan, right? Like, Jim Jordan's like, you're the only person in Congress who knows who this is. Like, they're all just lying. We all know who it is. Now, it's true that his staff is the only one who's talked to him, which is vital.
Well, you know, it is interesting you bring that up. So how would we even know that Eric Ciaramella was the whistle? Like, they keep saying, like, Adam Schiff sent this letter and told everyone, A, you better not say the whistleblower's name because that is not allowed. You will be investigated.
How would they know if they were saying that?
Yeah, I'm like, how do you guys even know that that's accurate?
They released, I don't know if you guys saw this, they released a transcript that had the guy's name in it.
Yep.
Do you know this guy? Do you know this guy?
It's
so bad.
It's insane.
And like all this comes down to is, like, there's 3 outcomes that are possible here, right? Like, they either go through the charade and don't impeach him. They go through the charade, they do impeach him, and then they do remove him. And neither one of those is going to happen, right? It's the third one, which is they do impeach him, they don't remove him, and there's some sort of political fallout that comes out from that. We saw with, you know, there's arguments that you can make that it helped Bill Clinton, though, again, you know, it's a weird case to make considering the economy, the shape it was, and Al Gore losing in 2000. I don't know that it actually helped them. But, you know, obviously, like you saw, you know, a real downturn for, you know, how did Jimmy Carter get a freaking job? So, I mean, these things can do different, they can have different outcomes. What is the political impact of this when it's over? Who's going to benefit from it? Who's going to play it up right? That's what the intrigue is. The intrigue is not really. It's like watching a football game and not caring about the score at the end, because the scores, we know what the score is going to be. They're going to impeach him. They're not going to remove him. So what happens in the middle of the game that's interesting?
Yeah.
It's like a Tampa Bay Dolphins game.
Yeah.
Going back to the statement, the letter that Adam Schiff sent to all House Republicans. So he said not only would it result in mention of the whistleblower would result in an immediate complaint to the House Ethics Committee, which, oh my God, what a bunch of whiners.
Yeah.
Like, if you say his name, if you say the name of the person that none of us know the name of, we're going to tell on you. That's what we're going to do. But let me read you the whole quote here, because there was something else that he told them that they were not allowed to bring up. He said, the committee has a long, proud, and bipartisan history of protecting whistleblowers, including from efforts to threaten, intimidate, retaliate against, or undermine the confidentiality of whistleblowers. Among other authorities, the Intelligence Authorization Act of 2010 and the Intelligence Community Whistleblower Protection Act include procedures for intelligence community personnel to make protected disclosures to inspectors general, blah, 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 blah. And then, so let's go to, he says, it is important to underscore that the House's impeachment inquiry and the committee will not serve as venues for any member to further the same sham investigations into the Bidens or into debunked conspiracies about 2016 U.S. election interference that President Trump pressed Ukraine to undertake for his personal political benefit, nor will the committee facilitate any efforts by President Trump or his allies to threaten, intimidate, and retaliate against the whistleblower, who courageously and lawfully raised concerns about the president's conduct. I mean, it's incredible. The same sham investigations into the Bidens.
Right, like here is the way we think this should come out, so you have to agree with it, right? Like it's, well, they don't believe it's a sham. They don't believe he did it for his own personal political development, improvement. You know, this is like he's trying to set the rules out, and the rules just happen to be that we need to win. Like, you know, like, hey, you guys can say whatever you want as long as it's good for Adam Schiff.
Right, yeah. We also had George Kent, who during his testimony kind of felt like he was basically saying there was probably a reason to investigate Burisma and what was happening with Hunter Biden. Watch.
The pervasive and longstanding problem of corruption in Ukraine included exposure to a situation involving the energy company Burisma. The primary concern of the U.S. government since 2014 was Burisma's owner, Mykola Zlochevsky, whose frozen assets abroad we had attempted to recover on Ukraine's behalf. In early 2015, I raised questions with the Deputy Prosecutor General about why the investigation of Mr. Zlochevsky had been terminated, based on our belief that prosecutors had accepted bribes to close the case. Later, I became aware that Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma. Soon after that, in a briefing call with the National Security Staff of the Office of the Vice President in February of 2015, I raised my concern that Hunter Biden's status as a board member could create the perception of a conflict of interests.
I mean, he wasn't removed after that.
I thought that Biden's whole thing was, I didn't know, and my office didn't know that Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma. You've got a guy here saying that he is.
We've got a guy coming
yeah.
to Biden's office and saying, hey guys, we probably should look at the optics of this because this is really not supposed to be going on.
Well, and this is, I think, the central part of this entire story, which is the word perception there is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not that it was corrupt. Right. It was the perception of corruption that they needed to avoid, where with Trump, it's just corrupt. Right? Like they just assume corruption with Trump, and with Biden, it's just like, oh man, people might think that you're doing something wrong here. It's like you walk in, you know, on your wife in bed with another guy, and you're like, honey, this is going to create some perceptions. People are going to think you're sleeping around. It's like, well, she is.
But Ivanka got some Chinese trademarks.
Oh,
I mean, like that's right. The left's response. It's like, you know, Hunter Biden taking $88,000 a year for 3 years is a month for 3 years is exactly the same as Ivanka Trump trademarking her name in China.
It is incredible the lengths they'll go to give their own side, you know, grace and benefit of the doubt so often. Okay, before we go to break, I do want to show you guys. I'm not sure if you saw it. Jim Jordan put up this. This was great troll work by Jim Jordan. Put up this giant sign behind him. It says, I'm concerned if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected. Quoting Representative Al Green. Just to remind everyone, just to remind the public, everyone watching, what the Democrats' intentions really were all about. Good job, Jim Jordan.
That's solid. And Green wasn't even talking about Ukraine. He was talking about Russia. Like, that wasn't the last time they were going to impeach him.
Exactly.
I mean, this is, and it's central to what's going on here, which is a confident party that thinks it can win the 2020 election doesn't do what the Democrats are doing. Right. They obviously are terrified they're going to lose here, so they're pulling out all the stops and trying to get him thrown out of office for other reasons other than the American people just voting him out. If you think you have a better candidate, go to the American people, make your case, and they should select you. Unfortunately, I think they know that, half the people are basically like, we should turn into the Soviet Union, and the American people might not like that much.
Yeah, if I was a Democrat and I saw the field that they were working with, I would probably be terrified too. Back in a minute. Before we get back into the conversation, we want to thank our sponsor, Genesis 950, which it always distracts me because their picture has these cute little animals. And if you know me at all, you know that I want
You're a cat lady.
I am a cat lady. Well, we have a dog now.
Yeah, but you're a cat lady. So.
I am a cat lady at heart. Absolutely 100%. I own it.
My goal, lady, a raccoon lady.
My goal when I grow up, and I'm really old, I guess, is to have an animal sanctuary where I will need gallons and gallons and gallons of Genesis 950 because I want people to actually come over to my house. So Genesis 950, you can use it for multiple things. You can use it to clean your countertops, your bathrooms. You can get oil stains and grease stains out of it. I mean, you can truly use this for everything. But what it was really developed for was carpets, so pet odors. Maybe you're like me, you're house training a puppy, and you're like, well, there goes the rug. There's poop on it now, and I actually have to clean it up. Genesis 950 has been a lifesaver for me. If you are looking to replace your carpets, maybe you're a crazy cat lady too, you're looking to replace your carpets, don't do that yet. Try Genesis 950. Pat has had amazing experience with it, and they did the whole 9 yards of like a professional cleaner.
And it wouldn't get clean, and then he brought in the Genesis 950, and that
got it right out. And it's way less expensive than a professional cleaner or new carpet. So you got to try it. You can get it on Amazon if you do all your shopping on Amazon, but you can also get a discount and a free spray bottle if you go to genesis950.com. Use promo code BLAZE, and you will get that free spray bottle and a discount. That is genesis950.com. Look at those cute little animals. Oh, I love them. All right, so Hillary Clinton. You know, we talk about her being out. She's doing her book interview. Is she going to run? Is she not going to run? She was asked on a BBC radio interview, which you'll see in a second. This is a weird setup. I don't like the camera angle. It's all very, very bizarre. But she was asked about the prospect of running in 2020, as everyone likes to speculate here. And this is what she had to say.
So you are ruling it out? Well, look, as I say, never say never. And I will certainly tell you, I'm under enormous pressure from many, many, many people to think about it. But as of this moment, sitting here in this studio talking to you, that is absolutely not in my plans.
As I'm sitting in the studio right now in the next 3 minutes, they are not in my plans to tell you and announce on foreign soil that I'm running for president on Friday.
That was an amazing collection of disclaimers.
I know.
In a sentence. As I sit here in the studio, so she was standing in the studio, that she could announce it, but she's sitting in the studio at this time. I mean, that was amazing. It's not in my plans. I mean, she really does look, I've been very dismissive of any possibility of Clinton running, but I mean, that is like she's blatantly thinking about it, which is incredible. I mean, how does she not have the sense of the room at this point? They don't want you. They don't want you, Hillary. It's not even us. Like, of course, we don't want you. But, I mean, they also don't want you. The Democrats have no interest in Hillary Clinton.
Well, to your point, and Jason, I want you to jump in here too, but to your point, one of her own former advisors, Doug Schoen, I think is how you say it, but one of her former advisors had this advice for her on whether or not she should run.
What's your advice to your former boss? She's like, if I'm basically dragged into it, I'll think about it.
My advice would be go home, close the door, shut your mouth, be quiet, and just forget about this. I mean, she lost when she shouldn't have lost. Everything she said recently has been nuts.
But other than that, she's been great.
Looked like he wasn't going to hold it in.
I know.
Jason?
I'd love to know the names of all these people that have been really pressuring her into doing this.
Well, there are many people. And also, Adam Schiff does not know who the whistleblower is.
Yeah, they all live in her head.
Yeah,
all of those people.
Many people.
It's got to be very, very tempting, though, because there's got to be a lot of people that are just like, licking their lips.
Patrick.
All the people,
I mean,
right.
The guy who said no to the run before, Bloomberg, who said no to the run before, and I was like, gosh, this field really sucks. I could just jump in and win. They all think this, right? I think there's the only argument, again, she has until Friday to get into New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, right.
You know, Bloomberg is basically saying, like, I can skip the first 4 states and make it work because I'm a billionaire. That's kind of his argument. And maybe there's something to that. I don't think so. I don't think there's any hunger or thirst or anything else for Michael Bloomberg or Hillary Clinton. The only thing you can maybe make the argument with Hillary is if they went through the entire primary process and named a nominee. Let's say they were to name, a Joe Biden, and then he got enveloped in complete scandal and the whole thing fell apart, and they needed to just draft someone out of nowhere that was kind of just ready to go.
And that's a possibility if this thing goes to the Senate.
I mean, it's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. And even in that situation, why would you go back to Hillary at that point? Why wouldn't you go to someone who had already run? The argument there would be, well, we can't have someone that, whoever won the nomination and fell out has already beaten. So you can bring in someone else who's kind of already gone through the process. Maybe that works. But I mean, like you're talking like House of Cards level nonsense at this point. I mean, you're way down the road of Kevin Spacey. He's doing whatever Kevin Spacey does on set. That sort of stuff has to happen before this goes down.
Well, I mean, you say that, but like with this special tonight, the Democrats' Hydra that Glenn is doing, I mean, crazier things have happened right under our noses.
Yeah, I mean, so many things, though, would have to happen. I mean, because if one of these things blew up now, they just pick a different nominee, right? Like through the primary process. It would have to go past you'd have to get past the nomination process. You think about what was talked about, relatively serious by some real serious Republicans at the time when the Access Hollywood tape came out, and we were a month away from the election. Everyone's like, holy crap, there's no chance this guy can win. That was at the time, and has been reported in multiple books telling of the story, that they actually did consider, and several people came out and said it, you should drop out. Yeah. So what happens in that situation? Maybe they would have thrown in a Romney, right? Like someone who had already run and gone through. Maybe they would have gone to Pence as well if there was a VP named. But I mean, there was a close association with Trump, and that might not have been the way to go. That sort of situation, you're just you're just hoping you can get through the election cycle with a party that's intact.
Yeah, Rob, she must believe that God just put her on this green earth to become president, or that she's entitled to it. I mean, she's got to be so delusional at this point to even consider, not at this particular moment while
she was
she's
sitting in the
studio, but at some point in time.
Right, but
it's on her plans.
I mean,
but never say never.
Never say never.
I mean, I think that she's wanted this since the first time she met Bill Clinton, right? I mean, they made a deal. I'll stand by you the entire time, and you can do whatever you want to do with all the women that you're going to do with it. I'll stick by you, and then you've got to support me when your time's done. And I think that she really thinks that she was, like you said, she was put on this earth to be the first female president of the United States. It's amazing. But to put on the tinfoil hat for a second, can I do that? I'm allowed to? Isn't it interesting, we talk about New Hampshire being on Friday. Isn't it interesting that the impeachment public hearings start the week that's there? Does she think that maybe that something so bombshelly will come out and say, the election was stolen from me, I obviously have to run again? And she's got the day to do it. I mean, I don't think that that's what happened, but dates and weird things sometimes make weird combinations.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I think you're right. I think, she wants to jump in badly, and you can understand it. Like, if you were to say, like, I tried something that was big, I had a chance to win, and I blew it, I won a second chance. But that's what 2016 was. Yeah. It was her second chance. She already blew it in 2008.
Yeah.
So she's looking for the trifecta. Okay, all right. Come on, Hillary. We are rooting for that trifecta.
The Martha Coakley
all right.
national politics.
Yeah, all right, back in a minute.
Martha Coakley's the only person that's lost it.
For those of you who have been following all of the impeachment hearings going on today, or you just watched the supercuts that we showed you here on this episode on this program, I think that your head might explode when you watch Glenn's chalkboard special tonight. It is called The Democrats' Hydra, and it is tonight, like I said, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. You can sign up for BlazeTV using promo code GB20OFF. I'm just saying, I think you're going to want to sign up after you watch this episode, just because we are giving you Glenn and his team. This guy primarily has done so much of the digging. We're giving you so much information. You're not going to hear it anywhere else, and it is huge. And hearing the Democrats talk like they are in these impeachment hearings is going to really piss you off. BlazeTV.com, Facebook, YouTube, watch it.